Hey guys, welcome back to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. We are in the middle of the first heat wave of the season. We made it to July almost. Today is the 29th that I'm recording this. Before getting a heat index, but today the heat index is 109, which is a lot. We do get these heat waves in summertime, and I'm grateful that we haven't had one before now. In years past, we've seen heat indexes like this, starting in May all the way through October. This is not going to be a year like that. We are not going to wish that upon us. So far it hasn't been that kind of a year, but we're into summer now and it's hot. So we are going to be going out and checking on the animals. This is the beginning of the hottest part of the day and I want to make sure that everybody's all right. But before we do that, I spent about 2.5 hours in the garden this morning and I brought the camera with me, but it was one of those like no talking, quiet work type situations and I wanted to show that to you guys. So I'm gonna put that clip in here. It's about 5 minutes long and then we'll meet back here. Good morning. I'm looking out the window of my shed and I see a thing that doesn't make me happy. That's our compost pile over there. The Tromboncino looks less than happy. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the heat index today, the heat values are up to about 109, which is a lot. I will say we do have a little bit of a breeze, which helps. And there is intermittent cloud cover, which also helps. But I don't know, guys, I think our volunteer Tromboncino, it was looking like this yesterday, even when things cooled down. I don't know what happened to it, but I don't think it's gonna survive. We just got 1.5 inches of rain maybe 3 days ago, and that should be plenty to hold this guy over for at least a week. But I don't know, it's not looking good. Maybe we'll check on it after the heat index is over. We do have a few rabbits in these grow out hutches over here. They've got full bowls of water. Everybody looks okay. One thing I like to do when we have heat indexes like this is just spray the rabbit cages down every couple of hours. There's a sciencey reason behind it. It's called evaporative cooling. But when the water evaporates off of the surface, it acts to cool the inside of the tractor. Seems to work pretty well. With our rabbits, we want to make sure that nobody is like putting their head up to the sky, kind of stargazing, and we also don't want to see any drooling. These guys look good. We've got ducks and chickens and goats hanging out here in the long grass. You guys are doing good, huh? Well, hey! Yeah, you guys are all right. You can barely see Cole over there. You guys need to eat faster, Gopher and Turd look like they're doing okay. I didn't bring any treats today. Do you want to play? You love this game. He's such a cutie. Fans blowing? How are we doing over here? I don't see any wilted plants. I don't see any wilted goats. Hi. How are you boys? Why are you guys already stinky? It is not fall time yet. You guys are hanging in there, huh? You look good. Okay. My strawberries in the green stalk are usually quite dramatic, but we did water them this morning, so they're holding up. I do not know the temperature inside the greenhouse right now. My little thermometer needs batteries, but I can tell you that it is cooler than the outside air, which has never happened in years past. The fans that we have in the greenhouse are helping a lot, and I actually bought 2 more of them for my barn because of how good they work in here. No wilting pumpkins, and I'll tell you, this astounds me. Normally squash wilts pretty heavily in the heat, but these Dutch fork pie pumpkins have not been wilty. I see a wasp. We're gonna leave it. It could be taking off some worms off of the pumpkins. I've been eyeing these for flowers and I have not seen any yet. But they all look really good. Look at all that. Man, if all of these make pumpkins, it's gonna be insane. How are these boys? Can you guys come here? See Havoc, he's underneath the shade over there. There's our Nefarious. You've had some people asking about you. How are you holding up? So he is black. Black attracts the sunlight, but he has been handling it fine. He's from Arizona after all, huh? You might have noticed from the last video that I did move Clover's baby bucklings out. She just was looking a little bit thin, and I figured maybe her bucklings are just taking a lot out of her. They're plenty big enough to wean. So we've weaned them out here. Hello, sir. You guys are doing a good job keeping this area eaten down. There's still quite a lot of forage for all of them, which is good. And nobody looks heat stressed out here. Sometimes you'll see goats panting. We may see that on some of our larger goats, and that's okay. There's a fine line though. I have been known to douse a goat. As you can see, our barn is a dark color, and at this time of day, the sun beats down on it. And when it's hot like this, you can't even touch the metal. It's gonna be so hot. But can you hear? We've got some fans. There's a fan blowing just like from the greenhouse. And the rabbits look comfortable. They've got bowls of fresh water since bowls will hydrate rabbits better than the bottles do. See, they look comfortable, which makes me so happy. We hear you, Winnie. Oh, look at all these girls under their fan. Hi, babe. Hi. How are you holding up? You're doing good. Nigerians tend to handle the heat pretty well in my experience. It's the larger bodied does, or goats in general, that can get pretty hot. I did shave a lot of the goats to prepare them for a show. We did a virtual show and I don't have the results back yet. Hi Tori, we see you. But it's usually the larger goats like Elpis that tend to heat stress, but she looks good. A little irritated at the babies. Got the other two big ones over here. How are you girls holding up? I did decide to feed them hay, even though it's not raining. I don't know how eager they're going to be to go out in the blazing sun to graze, and I want to make sure that they have a constant supply of roughage inside their rumen. It's really important for goats to ruminate pretty much all the time. Without sufficient roughage in their rumen, they're really not going to be doing that. And when they're not ruminating constantly, they're not producing B vitamins like they should. And their rumen can also develop like an acidic environment because they create their own buffering agent or their own baking soda essentially inside their rumen to help keep their pH in balance. So what I'm trying to avoid by feeding them hay is anybody going a little bit acid. I'm seeing cud chewing over here, even though Elsa is hot. She's doing well. Usually chewing cud is a good sign. They've got their cobalt block right here. I did have a block holder, but I don't know where it went. But you can see they've made quite a few little dents in their cobalt block. Is it hot? It's cooler out here under the fan. So when you're looking at fans for cooling down a space, when you're buying them online, and they might even be on the boxes if you're buying them in store, a measurement of how much air each fan can move. And you need a certain amount of airflow through a structure in order to adequately cool it down. So the greenhouse is 40 feet by 25 feet, which is the same size as our house. It's about 1,120 square feet. The two fans that I have in the greenhouse, plus the solar fan that I have, the exhaust fan that I have, moves enough air to cool the greenhouse down, and I can say that it does work. So when it came to buying fans for the barn is less than 1,000 square feet underneath of the roof here, so I knew that two would do it. And I can tell you, ma'am, Stormy needs attention. We'll give it to her in just a second. I can tell you that it is cooler in here than outside. It's still hot, but it's not 109 hot. The air is moving and they're getting cool. Where's Stormy? Well, you require attention, don't you? Breezy requires attention. Tizzy requires attention, and so does... You guys are not doing half bad, huh? They'd like to eat, but I do not blame them for not wanting to go out there. This isn't the best quality hay. This was first cut hay this year, and we had so much rain this season that a lot of farmers couldn't get to their hay for a few weeks, so a lot of it is pretty stemmy, and it did go to seed, but it's better than nothing on hot days like this. You girls look good. I'll check on you in a few, okay? Foxy and Margie have been spending a lot of time outside, but there is a lot of nice shade cast over these dirt areas, and it is pretty cool out here. They've got their own water bucket, which it looks like does not need filling. So you just spend tons of time outside, don't you, girl? Yep, hanging out with Marge. Okay, it's been several hours. The heat advisory is now lifted, and it really wasn't too bad. I did have one meat rabbit that I decided to bring in the shed. We were given this show crate by a friend, and this is something really awesome to have if you are a rabbit breeder and you need to bring rabbits inside for any reason. It has like the baby saver wire on the floor. It keeps them really contained, and I'm able to move, if I need to, my 4 breeders into a cooler spot in the warmest part of the day, and it's a great way to keep them cool and contained. I wouldn't leave them in here, you know, for like 12 hours, but for a few hours, the few hottest hours of the day, it's totally doable. Now we are going to put her back, but I wanted to say there are several different ways to keep rabbits cool in summer. We have tried a lot of them. My favorite thing to do is number one, the fan, but also spritzing their ears with water. It works a lot like spraying the tops of the cages. It works by, you know, the evaporative cooling. Same thing for their ears. A lot of people will put tile inside their cages, frozen water bottles, things like that. When we have done those things, our rabbits don't use them, and I don't know why. They don't snuggle up to the water bottle or the ice pack, and they don't lay on the tile. They just sit there and breathe. This rabbit was breathing particularly fast, but then she'd slow down. Just the breathing pattern was really irregular, and I didn't like it. She's back to normal now, so we're gonna put her back. There we go. So you can see the other rabbits are doing well. They don't have any signs of heat stress. I think one of the things that made this particular doe a little bit more susceptible to heat stress, despite the fan, is the fact that this doe did have babies with her this spring that I recently weaned. And when a mom has babies with her that are 2 weeks old or older, I do fill their food bowl all the way up. So she had free access to food well into the springtime. Everybody else does have like a ration. So she is more conditioned. She's kind of chunky. So she's fatter than the other rabbits, and that extra weight can contribute to her having a harder time in the heat. Except on my kitty. I'm sorry, you're underfoot. I'm sorry. Both cats did really well in the heat today too. You both did real well in the heat today. Nobody's home in the barn. That's a good sign. Hey, my girl. How's my Winnie? How's my Win? Come here. Hi, girls. Hi. You guys did okay in the heat today? Oh, Laura, my shoes are not edible. You doing good? Did you girls see that there's grass in the shade? Come here. Levi and I have talked about making like a lane and some different sections of our pond pasture here to kind of force the girls to do rotational grazing, because they definitely have some favorite parts of the pasture that they will eat down to like nothing, and then they'll leave some of it long. And I guess they don't want to travel too far. It's not that far that they have to travel for the longer stuff. Come here. It's right here. Look at how long that is. Looks like they have been through here recently, or something has. There's a trail. I didn't bring treats. Next time, Kay.